Hey YouTube, I thought I'd give you a look at my ReBoot collection, which is a show and series and toy line that I absolutely love and I feel is criminally underrated. First up here we've got Ray Tracer, who's quite a rare figure. I was lucky to get him. He was in the last wave that was released and he got a very limited release at that. And he comes with his surfboard, of course. It's just a tragedy we never got Mouse. I mean, we were so close to having all of those 6 main sprites, but I'm glad to have Ray. Mouse would have been more appropriate. Then we've got Andrea and Matrix there. They were quite easy to get hold of. They ended up on clearance, much like the first wave did, which this Bob is from. I have got Glitch Bob as well from the kind of season 4 wave, but I never liked Glitch Bob. I don't like the design. I didn't like that the voice actor changed. It's a shame we didn't get kind of an updated version of the original Bob figure in the better sculpted style of the later waves. Then next thing we've got Dot. Once again, I do have the original version of Dot, but it's not very good. This one looks far better. Though I wish she didn't have the grooves in the side of her head for her glasses, because it looks kind of weird. And she's got this kind of weird eyeshadow on the sides as well, which she didn't have in the series. But all in all, a great figure. It's a really nice sculpt. The articulation's, fine for the time. And then next to her, I've got little Enzo. I'd love to get him in his Guardian uniform. They did release a variant of him in his Guardian Cadet outfit, but it's really hard to get hold of. And then down here I've got Frisket, who I only recently acquired. He was quite hard to get hold of, really, especially in the UK. I think he was a bit more common in America. And with him I also got Fong. Now they were going to release a proper Fong figure near the end of the line, like with articulation and more to scale. Oh my god, it breaks my heart that we never got him, along with Mouse and Turbo and all these other characters. So we kind of had to make do with this little statue version of the character, basically. Then moving on, we've got Cecil. Behind him, a load of binomes. Now some of these are customs that I made myself. Hair Doctor, which is another figure we would have got had the line continued for another year. Oh, it hurts to know we didn't get him and we could have. And behind him I've got Fax Modem, who I made myself, and right at the back there a random pirate. Now the figures that are official that were released are the Prospector there, who was an odd choice to throw into the Binomes pack because he was such a nothing character. He was very sort of he was only in 1 episode, and the Prospector uniform was actually what he rebooted as in the game. That was not actually his character in mainframe. So they should have put Hair Doctor in instead of him, in my opinion. Then we've got Specky, Lieutenant Chansey, and Cyrus. Now Cyrus was always a favourite of mine. Even though he was only a side character who was in a couple of episodes, they really developed his character quite well and gave him a bit of depth and development in the last episode that he really featured in, Firewall. So, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Firewall and the episode before that as well. And it just goes to show the quality of ReBoot and the writing, that they could take little side characters like that and do something quite interesting with them. And now, they also released Old Man Pearson, as you can see here. But a lot of people don't realise they released him, that he was this 5th binome that was released. And he was released earlier in the series, in might have been wave 2, I think, was the binome wave, where basically they had a little binome character included with a main figure. The first version of Cyrus came with Megabyte, and there's actually 2 variations of Cyrus. The original was a bit smaller and had less articulation and didn't look as good as the Cyrus that comes in this binome pack. But there was another version of him, and Scuzzy came with Hexadecimal and various others. The little Fong came with one of them. And back here, of course, we've got Megabyte himself, who is a great villain. He really is. He should be up there with Shredder and Skeletor and Megatron for great cartoon villains, and voiced by Tony J, who just had an absolutely gorgeous voice, perfect voice for the character. They are bringing him back apparently for this ReBoot reboot or sequel series, The Guardian Code, but it's hard to imagine anyone else voicing him. They need to get someone who's a dead-on copy of his voice who can do a really good impersonation. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work for me. It's not gonna be the same. And then behind him, as you can see, Hack and Slash there, his bumbling sidekicks. Now, with Megabyte, I should say, there were a few variants of him. The original version, which had a lighter blue tone to it and a kind of metallic shine, which I really like, and I kind of miss it on this version of the figure. This one's a little bit too dark and he misses that metallic shine. However, this one has some great detailing in his body of that almost circuitry looking detail to his body, if you can pick it up there. The original also had articulation in the elbows that this one doesn't have, and the mouth opened, which I always found fun as a kid. So if this one just had that extra bit of articulation and a slightly lighter metallic look to him, this would be perfect. He probably is still the better of the two. And then there was also a grey and a black recoloured variation of that original Megabyte. And back here we have Hexadecimal and a Web Rider. Now the Web Rider is also from the last wave in the line where Ray Tracer was released. They also released a variant of Matrix and Bob in their web uniforms, their kind of web armour, and this hurts me, they released a Captain Capacitor.
Shiver me templates!
Very, very rare, very hard to get hold of. Captain Capacitor. I've even read online that there are only ever 3 of them released. I don't know how true that is, but he is extremely rare. I've only ever seen promotional images of him, really, from toy shows. I've never seen a picture of the figure in anyone's collection, so God knows what happened to the few that were released at retail. But it would be a dream come true if I ever found one. I mean, if I ever saw one at a car boot sale or something, I'd probably have an orgasm, collapse from shock and excitement, and then wake up to find that some 5-year-old had bought it for 50p or something and cry. But if I ever won the lottery, it was probably the first thing I would do before I bought a big flashy sports car, before I went on a holiday, before I bought a mansion, before I got a load of Playboy bunnies moved in. I would go searching the globe for Captain Capacitor. I would assemble a team of researchers and we would find that toy, and I would pay however much to have him in my collection, because he's pretty much the only gap I have now. I think, well, Mike the TV I also don't have, but I'm trying to get hold of, and then I would have every single character that was released in the toy line. Now this is a Bob variant, and he's got a better face sculpt than the original Bob, but obviously he hasn't got the official Guardian uniform. He's got kind of an outfit he had in a game that he rebooted in, and this is the figure that the Old Man Pearson Binome came with. And you can see he's strapped in there to the exoskeleton. Now there were 2 versions of this release. There was a yellow version originally, and then this is the kind of Season 4 orange variant, which is a really cool toy. It's got a lot of nice articulation and detailing. The only things I'd change is I wish that this hand swiveled at the wrist, and I wish there was an articulation cut right there, so you could kind of twist the lower part of the arm outwards rather than it facing inwards all the time like it is there. But otherwise it's an awesome toy. And lastly, down here is Bob's car. They were going to release a variant of this that was kind of a dark blue colour and had loads of missiles and things added to the back, which is how it appears in Season 4. I'm not sure if that ever actually got released, or if it went the same way as Herr Doctor and Mouse and Turbo and all these others. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.